The first regular meeting of the Medford City Council of 2021 will now come to order. Madam Assistant Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
Present.
Councilor Carviello. He's not present.
He is present on the Zoom.
Okay. Councilor Falco.
Present.
Councilor Knight.
Present.
Councilor Marks.
Present.
Councilor Morale.
Present.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Present.
Total of 7.
Excellent. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh. I just have to read the language anyway. Patrick, I think we froze. No, please. We don't want Rick. I can read the language. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Medford City Council will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the City of Medford website at www.medfordma.org. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen or watch the meeting may do so by accessing the meeting link contained herein. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post on the City of Medford or Medford Community Media website an audio or video recording transcript or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. I note that we are having problems with our internet connection, so I just need to speak with Mr. Gordon to see if it's been restored. Yeah, we're good. Okay, we're all set? Okay. Paper 21-001, election of a council president for 2021. My goal, this is my third time that I've chaired a city council meeting, and my goal, as in all previous meetings that I've chaired, is to get the gavel out of my hands as soon as possible. So we will now entertain nominations.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
We need to salute the flag.
We did that already.
You missed it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We did that already.
All right.
All right. So the goal is to get the gavel out of my hands as soon as possible, so we will now entertain nominations for council president for calendar year 2021.
Mr. Clerk,
Yes, Council Marks.
I'd like to put the name forth for Council President Richard Carviello.
Excellent.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Scarpelli. Councilor Carviello, do you accept nomination?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any further nominations? Councilor Knight has moved to close nominations. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Scarpelli. Madam Assistant Clerk, please call the roll. When you vote, please announce the name of the candidate you're supporting for president.
Councilor Bears.
Present.
Wait, Councilor Bears, I believe you actually have to vote on this.
Pursuant to council rule.
I'm voting present.
That was ceremonial.
That was committee of the whole. That was ceremonial purposes. I believe you have to vote on this.
You have to vote one or the other.
What are my options? Yes or no?
For Councilor Caraviello, or the answer is no, or a no.
No.
Okay?
Councilor Carviello.
Present.
Councilor Caraviello is allowed to vote present because it affects his own financial interests.
Councilor Falco.
Richard Carviello.
Councilor Knight.
Richard Carviello.
Councilor Marks.
Richard Carviello.
Councilor Morale.
No.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Richard Carviello.
With a vote of 4 in favor, 2 opposed, and 1 voting present, Councilor Caraviello is elected President of the Medford City Council for 2021.
Thank you.
I have spoken with City Solicitor Scanlon, who advised me that because President-elect Caraviello is attending the meeting remotely, I am allowed to swear him in remotely. He will have to sign the oath form at a later date. So I'm going to administer the oath now. President-elect Caraviello, if you could stand and raise your right hand, please, and then repeat after me. I, Richard F. Caraviello, do solemnly affirm
I, Richard F. Caraviello, do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties
all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as President of the Medford City Council,
as President of the City Council,
according to the best of my ability
according to the best of my ability
and understanding,
and understanding,
agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution,
able to the rules and regulations of the Constitution,
the laws of this Commonwealth,
laws of this Commonwealth,
and the ordinances of the City of Medford.
and the ordinances of the City of Medford.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If you would like to address the council, please feel free.
I just want to thank Councilor Falco for his leadership of last year, and I would hope, I thank my other fellow councilors who voted in favor of me. I will do my best to maintain order and dignity and run the meetings to the best of my ability, and I thank you.
Any further discussion of this matter? Seeing and hearing none. Paper 21-002, election of a council vice president for 2021. I will now open the floor to nominations for vice president of the Medford City Council for calendar year 2021.
Mr. Clerk,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to put in nomination the name of Adam Knight for Vice President.
Councilor Marks has nominated Councilor Knight for vice president. Is there a second?
Chair.
Second.
President Caraviello actually seconded. Councilor Knight, do you accept nomination?
I do.
Is there a motion to close nominations?
Motion to close.
So moved by Councilor Marks. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilor Scarpelli, second. For Vice President of the Medford City Council, Madam Assistant Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
No.
President Caraviello.
Adam Knight.
Councilor Falco. Adam Knight. Councilor Knight.
Present.
Councilor Marks.
Adam Knight.
Councilor Burrell.
No.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Adam Knight.
On a vote of 4 in favor, 2 opposed, and 1 voting present, Councilor Adam Knight is elected Council Vice President for calendar year 2021. Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you'd like to step forward, I can administer the oath of office. When you're ready, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Adam Knight, do solemnly affirm
I, Adam Knight, do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties
all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as Vice President of the Medford City Council
as Vice President of the Medford City Council,
according to the best of my ability
according to the best of my abilities
and understanding,
and understanding,
agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution,
agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution,
the laws of this
the
Commonwealth,
laws of this Commonwealth,
and the ordinances of the City of Medford.
and the ordinances of the City of Medford.
Mr. Vice President, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Please feel free to address the council.
Mr. Clerk, thank you very much, and to my colleagues, I'd like to thank you for your support, Councilor Marks and Councilor Scarpelli for the nomination. I look forward to working with Council President Scarpelli and the rest of the membership to move this city forward in a direction that's going to be good for all of Medford's residents. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I accept the challenge.
I'm going to yield the chair now. I'm going to thank the Assistant City Clerk.
Oh, great job. Thank you.
I'm going to yield the chair. Vice President Knight, if you'd like to come up here, I know that President Caraviello is going to be presiding and he's going to be remote, but you can feel free to come up here if you'd like.
Nice seeing you, Sylvia. Bye, Sylvia.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, thanks.
All right, Mr. Clerk, we ready?
We are, sir.
See you, Sylvia.
Okay. 21003, offered by Councilor Knight, be it resolved that the standing committee rules be adopted as the standing rules of the Medford City Council insofar as they are acceptable. Councilor Knight.
Mr. President, thank you very much. In common form in practice, as has done normally in the past, we've transferred all papers over from one session to the next. This paper does just that, and I'd move for approval and ask my council colleagues for support.
Second that?
On the motion by Councilor Knight, seconded by,
Second.
who said, I can't.
Councilor Scarpelli. Seconded by Councilor Scarpelli.
By Councilor Scarpelli. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
Yes.
Councilor Falco. Yes. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Councilor Marks. Yes. Councilor Morell.
Yes.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Caraviello.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, motion passes. 21004, offered by Vice President Knight, be it resolved that the Medford City Council transfer all papers and committees around the table from 2020 council to the 2021 council. Councilor Knight.
Mr. President, yes, once again, another procedural item that's been done in the past and will hopefully continue in the future to keep all our standing rules and our existing papers alive. So I'd ask my council colleagues to vote in favor of this, and I move for approval.
On the motion by Councilor Knight, seconded by.
Second.
Councilor Falco
Seconded by
with the
Councilor
second.
Bears. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
Yes.
Councilor Falco. Yes. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Councilor Marks.
Yes.
Councilor Morell.
Yes.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Caraviello.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, motion passes. 20659, City of Medford, notice of a public hearing. Public hearing will be held by the Medford City Council via Zoom on Tuesday evening, January 5th, 2020 at 7 o'clock p.m. A link to be posted no later than December 31st, 2020 on a petition from Stevens Automotive Transfer, Inc., doing business as Stevens Towing, 60 Union Street, Medford, Mass. 02155, for a Class 2 motor vehicle sales facility as an accessory use in accordance with Chapter 94 zoning ordinance of the City of Medford, Section 94-148D, Table of Use Regulations, automobile uses as an accessory use, Section 60B, for permission to operate its Class 2 motor vehicle sales facility as an accessory use at 60 Union Street, Medford, Mass. in Industrial Zoning District. Petition may be seen in the office of the City Clerk at Medford City Hall, 85 George B. Hassett Drive, room 103, Medford, Mass. 02155. Call 781-393-2501 for any accommodations or aids. By order of the Medford City Council, Adam Hurtubise, City Clerk, advertising the Medford Transcript on December 10th, 2020, December 17th. Where this is an open public hearing, I open up to who is in favor of this petition.
I believe Attorney Abruzzi is on the call. I'm just going to find him.
I see Mr. Abruzzi there.
Yeah, I'm going to unmute him.
Attorney Abruzzi, are you in favor of this petition?
Yes, I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, and I would, I'll make a presentation. I am in favor. You want
Thank you.
to?
We'll come back to you after.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else in favor? Hearing and seeing none, we close this section of the public hearing. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? I don't see anybody.
I
Mr.
don't see
Clerk,
anybody.
you see anybody?
I don't see
Hearing
any,
and
Mr.
seeing,
President.
hearing and seeing none, we close that. We close this portion of the meeting. Attorney Abruzzi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the council, happy to be here this evening via Zoom on behalf of Stevens Automotive Transport, doing business as Stevens Towing. Derek Stevens, the owner and principal, is on the call as well tonight. And a little bit of background. We're seeking a Class 2 motor vehicle sales license for the sole purpose of being able to more efficiently and economically dispose of vehicles that have been abandoned. You may remember I was before the council approximately a year and a half ago on behalf of Export Towing, similar situation. So when a vehicle is towed by the towing facility back to the yard and accumulates storage charges, under the provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 255, Section 39A, after a certain period of time, the towing company is entitled to post and advertise that vehicle for auction for the purpose of recouping the accumulated towing and storage charges. And in some situations, there's actually a third-party buyer. And let's assume that a vehicle's accumulated storage charges of $3,500 or $4,000. We may be able to, and we may in this typical situation, maybe we get a buyer at $3,000. Well, in order for us to transfer a title, we first have to get a title from the registry. And if we're not if we don't hold a dealer's license, we have to pay a sales tax to do that. So this is strictly a paper transaction within the facility, and this is not a typical secondhand automobile facility. So there'll be no. As you've seen now, you've had the experience of Export. You don't see any vehicles being advertised for sale. There's no used car lot. This is also all within, as I say, strictly a inter-office transaction.
Thank you, Attorney Abruzzi. Anyone from the council want to speak on this?
Mr. President?
Councilor Knight.
Mr. President, thank you very much. I, for one, don't have a problem with this. As Attorney Abruzzi has noted in the past, this is something that we've done as a past practice with Export Towing. We don't see Export Towing looking like a used car lot. As Attorney Abruzzi has stated, this is nothing more than merely a certification so a paper transaction can take place. That coupled with the fact that Stevens Towing's been in business now for as long as I can remember here in the city of Medford, and they've been a great neighbor. They've been a great contributor to our community, and they're a valuable asset. They provide jobs that pay a living wage here in the city of Medford, and if we can help a business during these times, I think we should do it, Mr. President. So I'm wholeheartedly in favor of this paper, and I'd move for approval.
On the motion of Vice President Knight.
Second, Mr. President.
Second by Councilor Scarpelli. Any further discussion?
Mr. President?
Councilor Marks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to concur with my colleague, Vice President Knight, that Stevens Towing has been a long recognized good business in this community. They're always willing to step forward in the time of need when the city calls upon them. And this seems to me just a way of streamlining their business. And I also have no problem with this, so I would move approval as well.
Thank you. Councilor Bears.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think Attorney Abruzzi already answered this pretty succinctly, but I just want to confirm there wouldn't be anybody coming to browse or looking at any inventory or anything like that, right?
Absolutely not.
Great. Thank you.
Do we have any further questions? Hearing and seeing none. On the motion by Vice President Knight, seconded by Councilor Scarpelli. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
Yes.
Councilor Falco. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Councilor Marks.
Yes.
Councilor Morell.
Yes.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Carriello.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative. Motion passes. Congratulations, Derek Stevens.
Good luck.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney Abruzzi. 21005, offered by Vice President Knight. Whereas the majority of the finalized construction of the GLX Ball Square Station lies within the city of Medford, be it resolved that the Medford City Council requested that the MBTA consider renaming the GLX Ball Square Station to the Ball Square South Medford Station. Vice President Knight.
Yes, Mr. President. This is something that came up through some discussions with residents in the community, based upon the fact that the majority of the station is going to be located in the city of Medford. The majority of the pedestrian paths and access roads are going to be located in the city of Medford, but yet the city of Medford's not getting any recognition or credit with delivering the Green Line to the city of Medford. Or extending the Green Line, and the Green Line Extension Project, I should say, Mr. President. So with that being said, I thought this might be something that we could do to boost some community pride and also bring some recognition to the South Medford neighborhood that's been neglected for a number of years.
Thank you, Vice President Knight. Chief of Staff Rodriguez.
Mr. President?
Mr. Rodriguez, you had your hand up?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Councilor Knight, for bringing it forward. This is something that the administration's been in active discussions with MassDOT and Secretary Pollack's office on. So we are making slow but steady progress, and we can update the council as we get more information.
Thank you, Mr. Chief of Staff.
Mr. President?
Councilor Morell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Vice President Knight for bringing this forward, because I think in addition to this being recognition, this is really just wayfinding, and I think it's something that the city of Medford and specifically South Medford deserves. So I thank him for raising this and look forward to this moving forward.
Thank you, Councilor Morell. Anyone else? Like, any other hands up?
Motion to approve?
On the motion by Councilor Knight, seconded by Councilor Bears. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
Yes.
Councilor Falco. Yes. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Councilor Marks.
Yes.
Councilor Morell.
Yes.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Carriero.
Yes, 7 affirmative, motion passes. 21006, offered by Vice President Knight. Be it resolved that the Medford City Council requests that the city administration extend a Christmas tree pickup for 1 additional week. Vice President Knight.
Mr. President, well, many of us were glad to see 2020 pass us by in the rearview mirror. There are still many of us, I'm not talking about my wife, I swear to God, that wants to keep their Christmas tree up a little longer than January 11th. So I'm hoping that we can petition the administration to extend Christmas tree pickup for 1 additional week, so that the week of the 11th and the week of the 18th, Christmas tree pickup can be conducted.
Thank you. On the motion by Councilor Knight. Seconded by Councilor Falco. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
Yes.
Councilor Falco.
Yes.
Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Councilor Marks. Yes. Councilor Morell.
Yes.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Carriero.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, motion passes. 21007, offered by Vice President Knight. Be it resolved that the Medford City Council hold a moment of silence in memory of Governor's Councilor Michael J. Callahan, a dedicated public servant who passed on January 6, 2011, following 5 decades of public service to the people of Medford. And be it further resolved that the January 5th, 2020 Medford City Council meeting be dedicated in his memory. Vice President Knight.
Mr. President, thank you very much. For those of you who don't know Michael Callahan was a resident of Medford lifelong, born and raised in the Fulton Heights on Saunders Street. He was someone who worked in government tirelessly for his whole career, for Senator Bullock, for Senator McKenna, as the Special Assistant to the Commissioner of Racing, the Chief Steward at the National Association of Government Employees. In 1978, he became the founding member of the Medford Consumer Commission, a commission that still exists in this community today that we fund through a line item in our budget every year. Michael Callahan was elected to the Governor's Council. He served 12 years as our Governor's Councilor representing the city of Medford. Upon the conclusion of Michael's 12th year, he passed away on the day that his successor was sworn in. Michael never got an opportunity or a chance to enjoy his retirement, but I think what Michael really enjoyed more than anything was the 50 years of public service that he was able to put in to the residents of this community. He was a Vietnam veteran. He was the author of the Veterans Buyback Bill, which allowed public servants in the police and fire department to buy back military time to put it towards the creditable service. He was someone that was a forward thinker, and most importantly, He is the man that saved Wrights Pond from development. Local legend would say that back in the early 80s, a developer came in looking to purchase large portions of land around Wrights Pond to build condominium developments, and Michael Callahan led the charge to stop that development. And here we are some years later, and we still have Wrights Pond as a beautiful natural asset to the residents here in this community. If you go up to Wrights Pond tomorrow, you'll see the Michael Callahan monument up there that's been kept in great shape by our staff at the DPW. And annually, I take the time to remember my friend Michael, a mentor of mine, someone who I sadly miss. So with that being said, I ask my council colleagues to support me in remembering Michael and the fine work that he did for the people of the city of Medford.
Thank you, Vice President Knight. On the motion of Councilor Knight.
Second.
Seconded by?
Counselor Falco seconded.
Seconded by Councilor Falco. Any discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, on the motion by Councilor Knight, seconded by Councilor Falco. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Bears.
Yes.
Counselor Falco. Yes. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Counselor Marks.
Yes.
Counselor Morell.
Yes.
Counselor Scarpelli. Yes. President Caraviallo.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, motion passes. If I could turn the chair over to Vice President Knight.
Paper 21008, offered by Councilor Caraviallo. Be it resolved that the Medford City Council have Mass DOT return to Mystic Avenue in the spring to repaint and restripe the areas that are already in place and wearing off. Councilor Caraviallo.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a project that we just got through doing about a month ago, and if you drive by there, the paint is already wearing off on the crosswalks and some of the siding there. And come the spring, I'd hate to see it have to have our DPW guys go out there and do it. So I would ask that the administration have the DOT come back in the spring and repaint that whole area on Mystic Avenue that they just recently painted. I mean, you paint it in the middle of the winter, paint's not gonna last too long.
Seconded by Councilor Scarpelli. Do I see Councilor Marks' light on? Or is that a reflection?
No.
No? On the motion of Councilor Caraviallo, seconded by Councilor Scarpelli. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Sure, I gotta call you last. Counselor Bears.
Yes.
Counselor Falco. Yes. Counselor Marks.
Yes.
Counselor Morell.
Yes.
Counselor Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Caraviallo.
Yes,
Vice President Knight.
Yes. Paper 21009, offered by Councilor Caraviallo. Be it resolved, the Medford City Council have the administration report back to the council the status of the 40B developments currently on appeal and the current cost for legal action. Councilor Caraviallo.
thank you, Mr. President. President, we have these 40Bs that are currently on appeal here. And a couple of weeks ago, our own OCD director had stated that we are under the affordable number needed to stop these, and we are also not close to the glam number to stop these. So, I mean, tonight we talked about affordable housing. All year long, we've been talking about affordable housing. Well, unfortunately, right now, this is our only avenue to get affordable housing in the city of Medford. And are we fighting a fight that we can't win here? I know we had Judy Barrett in the picture for a while there. I don't know if she's still working for the city. I know she was a master at negotiating friendly 40Bs. But I don't know where we are now. I mean, are we just, I hate to see us continue spending money on legal costs on fights that we can't win. I know Mr. Rodriguez is on the call here, if he'd like to give an opinion on where we stand on this.
Mr. Rodriguez, do you have any comment on behalf of the administration?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. So all three projects that were presented by 40B are currently before the Housing Appeals Committee. The Board of Appeals asserted safe harbor under the GLAM analysis that was performed last spring that did, put us over the required number. That number was challenged. It's working its way through the process through the HAC now, but we are always open to discussions with those developers as well. So that process is ongoing. The HAC process is pretty slow, so I can double check with Alicia and the Board of Appeals to see exactly where we are with the process in an estimated time.
Are we in, have we begun any negotiation with the three groups?
I'd be hesitant to discuss that in any detail. Well, I can say that conversations have taken place, yes.
Okay, I mean, again, I say, I know, the numbers aren't working out in our favor. I mean, the numbers that the state came back with and the numbers that the city have, we're not even in the same ballpark with this. So I hate to see us just spin our wheels here and spend money on legal costs that aren't going anywhere. We're losing tax dollars on these projects also. I mean, as soon as one of them goes up, we gain $1 million in tax revenue, not counting the building permit fee on each building. And we help with affordable housing. So I don't know why, I don't know what the holdup is and why we want to continue to fight these, because if you follow the trends right now, commercial property around the Boston area is going by the wayside and it's going toward housing, because the new business model is not people going back to work in the businesses. So you're going to see a big downturn in commercial, and I hate to see these people walk out of town and leave us with properties doing nothing. So I'll leave it to my other councils for any further discussion.
Chair recognizes Council Falco.
Thank you, President Knight. Thank you, Vice President Knight. And thank you, President Caraviello, for bringing this resolution forward. We haven't really talked about 40Bs in a while, and this is a concern, especially if legal fees are mounting. So I thank you for bringing this forward. If the council or President Caraviello, if you wouldn't mind, is it possible to amend your resolution to actually have I know you asked if I think it was the total legal costs, current legal costs, if we could have that by actual 40B, how much we've been charged, and actually how much the city has paid to our representatives, which I believe KP Law is representing the city on each of these. So if we could get that broken down by property, by each 40B, how much the city has been billed and how much we've actually paid out in legal fees to KP Law or whatever legal team is representing the city in this matter.
I would be amenable to that, Councilor Falco.
Thank you, President Caraviello.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Council Scott Pelley. Recognizes Council Scott Pelley.
If I can, thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for Council President Caraviello bringing this forward. But if I could, I recommend that, since we haven't talked about it, and that you do hear rumblings on the streets for, I've gotten a few residents come to me, they hear different developers looking at different areas saying, you know what, before it goes to this department or that department, we're just going to jump everything and just go right to 40B. So I think it's important. I'm going to amend this, and hopefully my councils, fellow councils can agree that we call for a committee of the whole as soon as possible, that we get all these questions answered with all of our department heads and the city administration together, so we can really start thinking and talking out loud about this. So I know what Council Caraviello is saying, that this might be a losing battle. I know what Council Falco is saying when we're talking about the funding that's being spent to fight this. And the biggest issue right now is you're seeing developers looking at Medford as, hey, I could come to this area and put up 12 units, and if it doesn't get approved, I'll just jump that and build 24 units and call it a 40B, because we allow that. And so I think that if we need to really have a conversation with everybody at the table as soon as possible, so we can get these issues out, moving forward in a direction that's really protecting our neighborhood. So thank you, Mr. President.
Second.
If anybody that's, Councilor Marks appears, the chair recognizes Councilor Marks.
No, I'm good, thank you.
You're good, you're good. On the motion. As amended by Councilor Falco, seconded by Councilor Scarpelli, further amended by Councilor Scarpelli and seconded by Councilor Falco. May the clerk please call the roll. Oh, we never had a second on the main motion.
As amended. Counsel Bears.
Yes.
Counsel Falco. Yes. Counsel Marks.
Yes.
Counsel Morell.
Yes?
Counsel Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Falco. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
You got me.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
President Caraviallo. My apologies. First mistake of the new year.
And many more.
So that was actually 7 votes, not 8.
7 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, the motion passes. Council Paper 20010, offered by Councilor Caraviallo. Be it resolved, the Medford City Council requests an update from the city administration on the status of procurement of the cleaning service for the new police station. Councilor Caraviallo.
Thank you, Mr. President. When I put this on, I did hear from Chief of Staff Rodriguez this morning, and he let me know that a company has been secured to do the cleanup of the station, because I have been hearing from officers about how the trash had already been piling up in the station. So I thank the Chief of Staff for resolving this issue, and if he'd like to speak on it, I welcome that.
Chair recognizes Councilor Scarpelli.
Thank you, President Knight, President Falco, President Caraviallo, President, everybody. The question I have is, I heard that the city administration moved forward, and I think that, listen, if Chief of Staff Rodriguez, just to let us know that what kind of custodial services we do have there, and does that extend to the fire headquarters too, or is it just the new police station? So, and is it a full-time position, or is it someone that's moving throughout the city in different departments? Because I know that we do have, different communities do have floating custodians that go from buildings to buildings that need only limited custodial services, so, thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilor Marks. No. President Falco. John? You good? Yep, the chair recognizes Councilor Falco. I can't see a microphone, that's why, so I can't see if the red light's on or not.
It's on now. Is Chief of Staff still on the line with us?
You see him there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Chief of
I'm
Staff
sorry.
Rodriguez, thank you. If you could, can you just elaborate on who's doing the cleaning, how it's being done?
It's currently being done with kind of an omnibus bid was placed out to cover the cleaning costs, and we can send you a copy of the RFP that details exactly what's being done in every location. So the cleaning costs, what we did is we made an informal agreement, or a kind of side agreement with the awarding vendor just for the police station, because we did know that we had to kind of skip the line on that one a little bit while we bridge over to the longer term agreement that's in place. So procurement's working out the final details. There is a couple details regarding insurance that we're working through with the awarded vendor, but all the buildings are now currently being cleaned appropriately.
So the fire station is being cleaned as well next to the...
I think it's headquarters and engine 5, but I can send you a copy of the RFP that breaks it down.
If you could, that'd be great. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And to answer Councilor Scarpelli's question, we did do an analysis a couple months ago about what it would look like to bring this in-house and hire floating custodians, or what that would look like in terms of it, but it just was not going to be a cost-effective measure to do that. It would probably cost around 2 or 3 times as much as privatizing.
And if I may, is the custodian or the cleaning company, do they come in once a day? How does that work?
The actual frequency, it should be every day. The frequency is included within the RFP, so we detail all that within exactly what to be done, when they should be there, and exactly how they're to perform under the contract.
Yes, if Council Knight, if we could, if I could make a motion that we receive a copy of the RFP.
On the motion by Councilor Falco for a copy of the RFP, seconded by Councilor Scarpelli. Is there anybody that would like to add to the conversation this evening on this item? Hearing and seeing none. On the motion by Councilor Caraviallo, amended by Councilor Falco, seconded by Councilor Scarpelli, and further seconded by Councilor Scarpelli. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council Bears.
Yes.
Council Falco.
Yes.
Council Marks.
Yes.
Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Council Morrell.
Yes?
Council Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Carriello.
Yes.
Chair back.
The chair relinquishes the chair back to the president.
Thank you, President Knight. 21001, offered by Councilor Bears, be it resolved by the Medford City Council that the city administration provide an update on the impact of the recently passed federal relief bill on city finances, including the potential new revenue and if any funding will be restricted to specific purposes. Councilor Bears.
Thank you, Mr. President. We talked about this actually a little bit in reference to rental assistance funds in our subcommittee meeting earlier this evening. But essentially, this relief bill is passed. There should be some impact on funding for our city or the state. And when the administration has an answer, I know that they were mentioning they were waiting to get some figures back from the state and some estimates. I don't know if you want to go into that more, Chief of Staff Rodriguez, but when you have that information, it would be great to get an update as a council.
Sure, Mr. President, we did have the brief discussion in the subcommittee this evening regarding especially the rental assistance part. We did get some more details in kind of the bridge between meetings. So that's going to look a lot like CARES unless you're a population over 200,000, you're not going to get direct disbursement from the federal government. Generally how this will go is it'll trickle through the state governments and be dispersed through DLS to the cities. So we are expecting that for the rental assistance program, if it's not directly administered by DHCD, or there's a couple different ways they can do it. We're expecting that for the Board of Health funds, as well as the school-based funds that are to be expected under the latest COVID relief bill. So once we get information from DLS, we'll be able to share them.
Thank you, Mr. Chief of Staff. Anyone else have their hand up?
Second
Mr. Clerk, Mr. Clerk, anyone have their hand up?
No, Mr. President.
Okay. On the motion by Councilor Bears, seconded by? Seconded by Councilor Morrell. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Hey, the Zoom's working out. It's working out for him. This is great.
Council Bears.
Second by Council Morrell.
Yes.
Council Falco. Yes. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Council Marks.
Yes.
Council Morrell.
Yes.
Council Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Carriello. President Carriello.
Yes. 7 in the affirmative, motion passes. Mr. Clerk, you have papers in your hands.
Do that paper under suspension, yes.
How many do you have? I'm having a problem hearing you, Mr. Clerk.
I have a paper under suspension, Mr. President. I believe it's your paper, so I think someone else is going to need to move to suspend the rules.
Okay, if you could pass it to Vice President Knight. Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
To take papers in the hands of the clerk. Seconded by Councilor Bears. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Hang on. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get this one right. Council Bears.
Yes.
Council Falco. Yes. Council Marks. Yes. Council Morrell.
Yes.
Council Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Carviallo.
Yes.
Vice President Knight.
7.
Yes.
Finally.
All right, rules are suspended.
All right, do you want me to read the paper in?
It was really in your pocket.
It's in the hands of the clerk. I'm gonna find it, but it's here. Offered under suspension by President Caraviello. Be it resolved that the Medford City Council send its deepest and sincere condolences to the family of Peter Brady. Mr. Brady was a teacher and hockey coach at Medford High for many years. His presence in our community will be dearly missed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. For those who don't know, Mr. Peter Brady passed away today. He was the dad of former City Councilor Patricia Doherty. But Mr. Brady was a longtime teacher at Medford High School. He was a high school coach for 9 years during the 1960 to 1969. And then after that, he left and he was a college football and hockey and lacrosse referee. And like I say, he was a vibrant member of our community for many years, and he did pass away. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the Brady family and their time. And if we could have a moment of silence for them.
The motion of Councilor Caraviello. Seconded by Councilor Falco. Councilor Marks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm kind of taken back I'm just hearing this now, and I'm very sorry for the loss of Mr. Brady. He was a long-time member of this community, very active, good family man, father, grandfather, and just an all-around good guy, and he'll be sorely missed, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Councilor Scarpelli.
To be redundant, but when you talk about great families and great members of this community and people that really help build the fiber of who we are here in Medford, and the Brady family being that family, one of those families, it is sad to hear, and we pray for the Brady family, so thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilor Falco.
Thank you. Thoughts and prayers to the Brady family. I know Mr. Brady was very involved. I remember meeting him when I was in the high school, actually going to Medford High School years ago, and very nice man, and thoughts and prayers to his family.
I too echo the sentiments of my council colleagues. On the motion by Councilor Scarpelli, Councilor Caraviello, seconded by Councilor Scarpelli, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council Bears.
Yes.
Council Falco.
Yes.
Council Marks.
Yes.
Council Morrell.
Yes.
Council Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Caraviello.
Yes.
Vice President Knight.
Yes. Please rise for a moment of silence. Motion to
Motion to
revert
be back to regular business.
On the motion to revert back to the regular order of business by Councilor Caraviello, seconded by Councilor Scarpelli, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council Bears.
Yes.
Council Falco. Council Marks.
Yes.
Council Morrell.
Yes.
Council Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Caraviello.
Yes.
Vice President Knight.
Yes. Relinquish the
Thank
chair
you.
to the president.
Reports of committees, 20688, December 22nd, 2020, Committee at the Whole report. Mr. Clerk, if you could give us a brief update on that committee report.
Yes, Mr. President, that was the, I believe that was the meeting with zoning consultant Bobrowski.
Okay.
Am I
thank you.
correct on that one? Sorry.
And we will be scheduled, I
Sorry,
think
sorry.
the,
My apologies. That was the committee of the whole on the complaint filed about the procurement of Attorney Bobrowski.
okay.
And the administration, Mr. Rodriguez was there from the administration, I believe, and he said that there were some minor tweaks to the contract that would cure the defect, and that the administration was working on on making those minor tweaks to the contract so that the defect would be cured, and he foresaw no further action being necessary on that matter.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
And I believe the council did request additional information on that, right?
I believe the council did
Council did request
request
some information on it, though.
Hey, do we have a motion to accept?
Motion
the
to
committee
move
report?
approval, Mr. President.
On the motion by Councilor Knight, seconded by Councilor Falco. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
Yes.
Councilor Falco. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Councilor Marks.
Yes.
Councilor Morel.
Yes.
Councilor Scarpelli. Yes. President Caraviallo.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, motion passes.
Mr. President,
Yes, who's that?
Counsel Scott Pelley.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Before we adjourn,
Records too.
Okay.
could I just want to recognize a sense of normalcy we haven't seen here since March. I want to welcome City Messenger back. Thank you. Welcome back, Larry. So thank you. I think we're turning the corner. This is a sign. I have my water here. I finally have the correct placket in front of me. I know it was Mr. Council Penta for a little while. Someone kept, so I appreciate Larry being back. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Scarpelli.
Welcome back, Larry.
Good to have you back, Larry. Do we have any public participation? Mr. Clerk, any public
I
participation?
see no hands raised on the Zoom call, Mr. President.
Okay. I did receive something from Mr. Brabowski. We will be scheduling another meeting. I think it's for the 19th. I will let everybody know the next couple of days, so we can finish that up. Mr. Clerk, if you could, those papers that he sent out were quite lengthy, and I don't know if anybody at home has a printer big enough to print all those things out. If you could,
I'll put them in your
out
packets
first.
for this weekend.
Yeah, if you could print those out, along with the other stuff, the warrants from Councilor Knight, that they look kind of lengthy. And there was one more, the one on the South Street. The recommendations for South Street.
Okay.
Like I said, yeah, if you could print those out, our home printers, just aren't capable of doing all that printing.
Okay.
So I appreciate that.
Records.
Records. The records of December 15th were passed to Councilor Knight. Councilor Knight, how did you find those records?
In fair order, Mr. President, move approval.
The motion by Councilor Knight to accept the records of December 15th, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Scarpelli. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
Yes.
Councilor Falco.
Yes.
Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Councilor Marks.
Yes.
Councilor Morel.
Yes.
Councilor Scarpelli.
Yes.
President Falco. I'm sorry, my President Caraviallo. I'm going to say this a couple more times. President Caraviallo.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, motion passes. Records of the December 22nd, 2020 meeting were passed to Councilor Marks. Councilor Marks, how did you find those records?
Mr. President, I did not find them in order, and I'd ask that they be laid on the table for one more week.
Second.
The motion by Councilor Marks to table it for one more week, seconded by Councilor Knight. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Bears.
Yes.
Councilor Falco. Yes. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Councilor Marks.
Yes.
Councilor Morel.
Yes.
Councilor Scarpelli. Yes. President Caraviallo.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, motion passes. Before we adjourn the meeting, if we could take a moment of silence for Governor Councilor Callahan and dedicate this meeting in his memory. If we could please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. And again, I thank everyone for my first meeting. I wish I was there. I'm sorry the COVID has grabbed me, and hopefully I will be able to be at the next meeting, and I await a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Councilor Knight, seconded by Councilor Scarpelli. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Bears.
Yes.
Counsel Falco. Yes. Vice President Knight.
Yes.
Counsel Marks.
Yes.
Counsel Morel.
Yes.
Counsel Scarpelli. Yes. President Caraviallo.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative. Motion to adjourn. Good evening, and thank you, everybody.
Feel better, Rick.